Well, welcome in, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Let's get our heads right for a Thursday, May 23rd. Great to be here with you guys this morning. Doing it a little bit differently today, certainly. I am Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. He is currently on hold with our guest that we are starting the show off with. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. I'm a bit flummoxed right now.
That's not the usual procedure.
This is not the usual procedure.
But why not? We're going to be off tomorrow, and they've got an early game today, so let's get right to it and welcome in the skipper of the San Diego Padres, Mike Shildt, brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union. It's not big bank banking, it's better. Mike Shildt is with us. Congratulations on the win last night.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Good morning.
Good morning to you. This is Skip. This is usually the time where we are stretching our legs. I was going to tell the story about my wife almost burning the house down last night. That's a true story. And so this is a new one, right? We go right into the hard-hitting interview. First of all, congratulations on the Braves series. Congratulations on the win last night. When your Padres are playing like that, man, they are a tough team to beat, and they are a really fun team to watch.
I don't know what, if anything, I'm going to say is more interesting than your wife burning the house down.
Yeah, give me the story.
I'll tell you the story. So Skip, we have some baseball gloves in the house that need to be broken in. Now, typically, I would do it, but she got it in. She has a glove. I got a glove. My son, Bo, has a glove. And she goes, I'm reading about breaking these in, and I want to try something. So I'm sure you've heard of the method of putting them in the oven, putting a little lotion on there and putting them in the oven. So she was going to go to work on hers again last night. She had forgotten, though, that she had stored some donuts in the oven, a box full of donuts. So she turns the oven on to crank it up, get it ready to put her glove in. And forgot the donuts. They caught flames. Smoke was billowing out through our house. My 6-year-old ran in crying, "Dada, there's a fire." So I ran in. Our house smells like a campfire. We did end up getting it out without needing the assistance of the fire department. But it was it was a very eventful night. Meanwhile, your guys are in the background playing very well. So that was our night last night. She almost burned the house down. But the gloves feel great.
Nice and broken in?
They feel nice and broken in and soft and everything else. She was storing the donuts in there also, Skip, to keep me away from them, which is also the funny part.
I think it's hilarious. What a great story.
Yeah, it was a good one.
I love you breaking in gloves at your home. It says a lot.
we live it, man. 24 hours a day. My little guy,
Awesome.
6 years old, he plays his very last T-ball game today. So on to the next level, which is really cool.
Love it. I love it.
I'm just glad you guys didn't get struck by lightning in the
God,
last inning
man.
there. I understand wanting to get that thing in and not have to sit around for 3 hours to get the last out or two, but it looked like it was getting kind of dicey at the end of the game there.
It was absolutely getting dicey. And you want to talk about a slow heartbeat for Robert Suarez. I mean, one of the louder cracks of thunder I've ever heard with the lightning to boot right on top of each other, which obviously, it means it's getting close. Right in the middle of his delivery and pitch, and just calmly just throws a 99-mile-an-hour fastball in the black.
He did not flinch. I watched it.
It's like honking in your backswing.
And he'd be a great golfer, man. He could take. I mean, talk about being in the zone. Now, every foul ball they hit, though, Skip, I was like, oh, God, here we go. They're gonna. That guy was up there battling, and I go, they're gonna bang this game with 2 strikes, just like they did. I think it was in St. Louis a couple of weeks ago for 3 hours. Those games got to be nerve-wracking for you.
I put the weather out of my mind. Honestly, it's like, I can't come close to controlling it. We'll just play. And Marvin Hudson, the crew chief, came over in between innings of the 8th and told me what was going on. He said, "Hey, man, we're going to ride this thing out." I said, "Marvin, let it ride, bro. Let's play." And, we got through it.
Now, I always see, we're talking to the skipper, Mike Shildt, here on Ben and Woods this morning. So I always see this on, like, people will tweet stuff like, well, it's now an official game. And so how does that work? If the weather team looks at it and says, no, we're not going to be able to play the rest of the night. You've played 8 1/3 innings. What are the rules there?
Yeah, you play. I mean, if you're we had the lead after the 5, once they hit after the, bottom of the 5th inning, became an official game. So then it's just a matter of they'll call it. I mean, have a rain delay, they'll wait and try to resume play. But if they don't, the win goes to us. If it's tied, it's a different scenario. We gotta play it out.
How's the weather factoring in today, and how much do you look at that? Just knowing sometimes that can affect pitching if you've got to take a break and a guy's already gotten warm, you can't bring it up. How much do you have to think about that before a game?
I don't know about today. I mean, I'm just walking out, and it's overcast. But again, I don't put a lot of mental energy into the weather. What you mentioned though about that is a little bit of a challenge. I don't play weatherman there either, but I do think about it. And that's one of the things that plays heavily into the decision about whether to start a game or not. Is your starting pitching? It's like you don't want to. Everybody in the league gets it, regardless of home or road. But it's the biggest challenge for people that are in a way different pay grade than I am to have to make that decision. But it's a challenging one because you have the full house at Petco or the other day in Atlanta on a Saturday night, and there's 40-something thousand people there excited to see a Major League Baseball game. So you want to make sure you take care of them, but you don't want to start a game, especially knowing if there's a doubleheader, how it's going to compromise your pitching and then burn a starter. So, they make the decision, but I stay out of it. Whatever they tell me to do, we do. The bigger challenge, like Ben Fritz, our bullpen coach, was talking last night, do you ever think about in the seventh, because it was starting to, drizzle a little bit, and there was some thought about Josh, their clubhouse guy, came in and dugout told me right at the top of the seventh, hey, it's coming soon. And do you ever think about using the closer then, right? You got to lead in and just shutting it down. I can't. I don't know. I can't live in that world. Plus, at the big league level, they're going to wait a couple hours, so the legitimacy of it being rained out is probably not very high. But then you play weatherman, and look, man, it's I got my hands full just managing teams.
I was going to say, there's probably
a lot of variables to it.
There's probably enough to think about without having to plan moves that you don't necessarily have to plan until they happen. But just one of those weird things that when we're watching at home going, man, all right, yeah, I didn't really think about that. And like I said, every time he fouled one off of Suarez, I'm like, oh, boy, just let him get through this thing. Talking to the skipper, Mike Shildt, here on Ben and Woods, I thought Michael King did really well last night. I mean, the pitch that Candelario hit for a home run, that ball moved. I mean, you can see it on TV. It moved 2 feet. It literally it just moved right down the middle. I thought he did a great job. I wanted to ask you, though, because they showed it on TV. When you went out to get him last night, was he mad that you took him out?
Michael's a competitor, man. He wants to pitch. So I don't know. I mean, look, I have no issue with a guy that has some level of frustration coming out of a ball game.
Yeah, I figured.
I don't, I really don't. It doesn't bother me at all. It used to, earlier in my career, I'd take it personally, and then I'm like, no, well, I would wait. And this was, 15 years ago. I was like, heck no, man. I'd way rather prefer even come in the dugout. You got a problem with it? I got no issue. I want guys that want to stay in the game that like to compete. It's way better than going out and the guy looking over at you, during the inning going, hey, man,
whenever you're
what
ready.
You think, man? What are you thinking out there? How's that bullpen doing? That guy ready yet? I mean, I'm at a disengagement, so we're at a trip. So come. Nah, man, that ain't it. So I don't know. I mean, Michael was, competing his tail off, and he knew that he wanted to go deep in the game to do the best he could to save our bullpen, and he was able to accomplish that. He did his part, and then it was time for Winder to do his part, which he did.
I figured as much. I really did. When I saw him walk off, I went, oh, all right. I didn't want to come out. I love it. I love it, too.
Talking to the skipper, Mike Shildt, here. It's our manager's report, a special Foreplay edition. And obviously, tough news about Xander Bogaerts yesterday. And I know it's a next man up mentality, and you've got some depth now with Arise and Solano and calling up Peralta yesterday. But as the manager, is there a mental component as well to make sure your guys don't take bad news to heart and let it affect the team when something like that happens?
Yeah, it's part of the job. I mean, listen, we're going to miss the heck out of Xander. We're going to support him clearly. We're going to be there for him through his journey back. We're still trying to gather information to see how long that's going to take. But I'm not a blind optimist, but an optimist to think he'll heal quickly. And I know Bogey takes care of himself really well, which will be a factor in his rehab. So we're going to miss him. The guys are going to clearly miss him. The one thing about baseball is that, there's a lot of resiliency to it. You play every day, things happen. Players get used to, transition and on rosters and, moves. And so it really is that next man up mentality. And, we're going to, figure out a way to continue to play good baseball and, win games. That's what this group's about. So we'll miss him. And like I said, we'll support him and, we'll find the combination today that, allows us to go compete.
Well, I'll tell you, talking to Mike Shildt here on Ben and Woods this morning, watching the pregame, again, this is all on television. You couldn't see it or you were in the dugout, but Peralta comes in, and his pregame interview where he talked about his journey and struggle to get back in the big leagues almost brought me to tears. He got choked up talking about it too. And then to see him in the dugout last night, a literal Padre killer over the years, Mike, pumping guys up, really fired up to be there, ended up getting an RBI last night. It's so nice to see guys like him and Arise come in and contribute right away, number one, but the attitude that they've brought, they look and feel like they've been Padres for a while. And, Peralta just got there yesterday. That was pretty refreshing to see. It's got to be that for you and AJ as well, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah, nice, super refreshing. Another good quality veteran, been there, hungry still, experienced player. And, they come from different places, but they all bring the same, end mindset, and that's I'm here to win baseball games. That between, Rye's still younger in his career, but has the heart of a champion. And Solano I've known, since his rookie ball days when he was 16, and is just a pro's pro. And Peralta I've known since he was a pitcher rehabbing, 100 years ago in his early career. And I know his journey and his heart for the game and his desire to compete. So, we're excited to have him. And David's a really enthusiastic guy, and I love the enthusiasm he's going to bring to this club.
I'm curious if you have any thoughts on your team's struggles against left-handed pitching recently. I mean, you had the great win against Max Fried, who's been unbelievable, but then the other, I think, 4 recent starts against lefties, not scoring any runs. You guys normally mash lefties. Is there anything like you're seeing there?
I think it's a combination of things. You're right. I mean, I like to bet on our club, and it's, individual performances against lefties. Fact of the matter is it hasn't been as good as those histories, dictate. But, and we've also faced some tough lefties, faced some tough righties. I mean, it's the big leagues. You're going to face tough pitching. So no alibis here, but we can't ignore the fact that, facing guys like Lodolo and Suarez and, Abbott was good the other day. And Sale, of course, is no walk in the park. But, yeah, we clearly are aware of it, and I do think it'll normalize.
All right, well, I know you got a game to get ready to. We appreciate you joining us early this morning. Hopefully another series win. I think that would make it 6 out of 7 today, and then a safe trip back to Petco Park to face the Yankees this weekend. We'll see you out at the ball yard, Skip.
Yeah, looking forward to today, looking forward to the weekend, and, hope the microwave's okay.
Yeah,
Microwave's fine.
There.
We need a new oven, but the microwave actually made it. Thanks so much.
Mike Shildt, manager of the San Diego Padres, brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union. It's not big bank banking; it's better. He was very interested in your oven story.
If I had come on the radio this morning and said, "Take a guess who hid donuts in the oven, then went to break in their baseball glove." Turned on the oven and forgot the donuts were in there. Who would you guess it would be? It would not be my wife. it would be me. Clearly,
No, if I'm putting odds, you're like minus 1,700,
Correct.
and they're all like plus 2,000.
Everybody else, yeah, but it was her, and Bo running in the middle of the game. Dad, there's a fire, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
Now you're trying to wonder: is he now serious, or is he mistaking something for a fire? No.
I can't even impart to you how much smoke filled our home. By the way, not one smoke alarm went off, not one. So very cool. We have a lot of work to
test
do.
those batteries. You got to test those batteries.
It's I have 2 small children at home, and I'm like, oh my Lord. So we got to get that fixed. We got to get a couple of fire extinguishers because now again, I don't know anything about fires. I've seen backdraft. I don't know what happens when you open the oven. Is it going to and burn my wife to a crisp? I have no idea. None. So it was way more of an exciting Wednesday night than I wanted, to be honest. I just wanted to watch the game.
People want to know why the donuts were in the oven. They were there to be hidden from you.
She had an open house, and at her open house, she had VG's Donuts there. And she brought this box home, smuggled it in, maybe in her jacket, because I didn't see her bring them in.
Hid them, box of donuts in your jacket, or you're just happy to see me?
Hid them in the oven, turned the oven on so she could bake her gloves, and just forgot the donuts were in there. And I'm like, very cool. And so now my house smells like a bonfire. It's all I can smell. Though, by the way, last night we had to sleep with our windows open. Guess what else happened? Skunk sprayed our yard. So we had skunk and bonfire permeating the house. Let's put it this way. I'm not super mad that I'm getting in the car and leaving for Joshua Tree in about 3 hours. So very exciting night at the Woods household. But yeah, who else is going to hide donuts, bake their glove, and almost burn the house down? Wouldn't be me, right?
We're going to come back, take our first break, maybe a little more foreplay, and set the menu for the show. I do have to shout out Ray in our chat, who just made me laugh. Says, condolences to your air fryer. Just appliances. Mike Shildt said microwave. You said oven. Now it's air fryer. I thought that was funny.
Get it.
You didn't get it. All right. Just me.
Good job, Ray.
Yep, you made me laugh. All right, we'll come back. It is the final show of the week, and it's a short one as well. Getting ready for Padres baseball this morning. Vicky Pepper's got a check of traffic here in for Kelly on 97.3 The Fan. We'll be right back. This hour of Bennett Woods is brought to you by Prize Picks. Join the biggest moments in sports with Prize Picks. Pick your players, pick your stats, pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details. Our thanks to the manager, Mike Shildt, joining us both a day and about 3 hours early as the Padres get ready to wrap up their series and road trip against the Cincinnati Reds at 10:10 this morning. That means a 9:10 Eco Water SoCal pregame show for Sam Levitt and a bit of a shorter show for Ben and Woods today. So we got a lot to get to and not as much time to get to it. Obviously, we will wrap up the Padres 7-3 win from last night, give you some of our thoughts, the ones we haven't already covered with the skipper in our first segment of the day coming up. We've got a game of Real or Fake on a Throwback Thursday at 7 o'clock, chance to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas. And Paulie's had some fun with the audio that we played yesterday in our 8 o'clock segment, the Rent-A-Friend video. I have not heard this yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
So I'm at home yesterday, and I'm unloading my car after a grueling day here at the office, right? And I'm just grabbing my backpack and my water jug, and my neighbor, Ron, drives up. Loves the show, huge tier one, rolls his window down, and all he says is, "Do you want to be my friend?" And then drives off. And I go, all right, well, that clearly worked today. That bit yesterday was insane. I mean, it's just the most insane. I'm going to spend a lot of my weekend watching it as well. The VHS Rent-A-Friend. So Paulie has done some magic. Can't wait to hear this.
We've got Don't Do This at 7:20. Obviously, we'll be talking more about the injury to Xander Bogaerts and how the Padres are going to have to get by for 2 to 3 months. And while I know the initial thought, if you're a Padres fan, a frustrated Padres fan at times, is, yeah, well, it's too bad. Xander, who's been struggling badly, is out. Are they even going to miss him? At some point, they will absolutely miss Xander Bogaerts. He was going to get hot, and now he can't get hot because he's going to be out for 2 to 3 months.
It's a classic reminder of be careful what you wish for. You know, honestly, it's be careful what you wish for. And Xander had been scalding the ball recently. You felt like he was going to be coming out of it soon. And now, 2 months is it's not great, man. It's not great at all when you lose a guy like that from your club. Now, luckily, they do have some depth, but now that depth is going to get tested. And now, guess what? Now you need more depth. So when one guy goes down, the ripple effect can be pretty gnarly.
I think there is the silver lining is you can probably just pencil in Luis Arraez now at second base and let him be comfortable knowing when he shows up to the ballpark, he's not going to be bouncing between DH and different positions. He'll just be out there at second base until Xander is back. And you still have Donovan Solano as a veteran backup.
You get the sense, too, Luis Arraez likes playing second base.
You do.
I mean, you really do. He's an energetic guy, and I think he'd probably rather do that anyway.
Yeah, he's not a plus defender. Xander's a better defender,
he looks fine.
But I think having him out there on a regular basis, he's made some nice plays the last couple of days. Yeah. So he'll be out there consistently, which is maybe a good thing, at least short term. Long term, though, Padres will miss Xander Bogaerts, and they needed him to get going, and that's just going to be harder to do now, not knowing when he is going to be able to return. People were asking me, why did the initial imaging not come back? They took x-rays the first day. What was going on? Why did it take another day? And all I can say is that is not uncommon, that the initial round of imaging doesn't always reveal the extent of injuries. Xander said, I heard a crack when I landed. I mean, I don't think he was that surprised that eventually it showed up on the MRI that there was a fracture in the shoulder. Now the hope is simply that there's no labrum damage. There's nothing that's going to require surgery. It's simply something that needs time to heal. But after the time is up, should be back to 100%. So that's the cross your fingers, and they have more scans, and he's going to get another opinion from another doctor. Obviously, there's no hurry unless he does need surgery to get anything done, because it's probably just rest and recuperation for the next couple of months before Xander can start rehabbing.
Yeah, let's talk more today about some of those options that they may have, and it's already going crazy in the chat of what I would do if I was the manager, or what you would do if you were the manager, where you would move guys. I did see somebody said that Crony was taking grounders at second. I don't think that's really uncommon. I see guys doing that all the time. Fernando still takes grounders at short, so I mean it's you never know.
Yeah, we'll talk about it, but
yeah.
it's certainly an option that you have, and you've got versatile players that can move around positions. But that's a big topic for the Padres going forward. 8 o'clock hour is our Smart Baseball segment with Eno Sarris at 8:35, and then we turn things over again to Sam and Padres baseball just after 9 o'clock this morning as the Padres go for another series win and another successful winning road trip if they can get the victory today against the Reds with Matt Waldron on the bump against Frankie Montas in the series finale. So we'll start things out with our Padres wrap-up, get the highlights of last night's 7-3 win over the Reds, and discuss the matchup. Michael King, the offense getting going just like they needed to yesterday. That is coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So I've had a number of people express disappointment in the fact that we don't have a round table today. They're going, what?
I was one of them.
No round table.
Yeah, I was one of them
you
that
were.
expressed disappointment.
But
Because you would have been gone.
the reason...
No, because I want to do it.
Yeah. The reason for no round table is that there is an actual game. You know, the round tables are designed to kind of augment the games and supplement the time between the games. But the games are really the focus. This is like an upgrade from the round table to an actual...
Massively.
An actual baseball game. I mean,
Correct.
if you wanted us to...
Padres have a lot of off days on Thursdays.
If you wanted us to cancel the game and bring you a round table instead, I feel like there are people who would rather have a round table than a game, and that doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I'm one of them.
Now, what about a 4-game series at home, say, that starts on Thursday?
Okay.
6:40 start.
Right.
We're doing a round table those mornings, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just
for off days.
Right.
This just happens to be a game that coincides with the time we usually do the round table. So we will be back next week with a round table. But this week, we are all off. And
What if you guys do the round table still at 10 o'clock, but just patch Jesse and Tony in? They can be part of the round table, and they'll just call the game as well.
Play-by-play and round table at the same time.
Jose said we could have done a round table at 8 a.m. Yeah, we could have. I'm down. Get Craig, Annie.
Call everybody up.
Get them in here. I'll round table.
Send up the bat signal for the round table and see who shows up at 8 a.m.
I will round table my ass off at 8 a.m. this morning.
Round table so hard.
Okay? A round table like a madman.
Make sure we call Round Table Pizza so they know they got to put those pizzas in the oven early.
Let's get it going.
Make sure there's no boxes left in the ovens when they turn them on.
Oh, my God.
Learn that can be a problem as well.
Yeah.
So.
Jose's disappointed. He said we could have done this at 8. I agree. We should actually do it at 8 every Thursday, if I'm being totally honest with you, Jose. So, but that's fine. But not today. I'm excited to drive out to the desert and listen to Tony and Jesse and Sammy on the way out, the pregame. I never get to hear any of this stuff, so excited about it.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder. You're just going to enjoy next week's roundtable that much more.
100%.
Because we didn't have one today. All right, let's check traffic with Vicky, and then we will come back with the highlights, our Padres wrap-up of last night's win over the Reds, coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Vicky Pepper.
This report brought to you by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your trusted instant drive-thru oil change. 8 west at the connector to the 805 south, some sort of hazard in the right lane at the end of the transition ramp. 5 south at Sassafras, someone lost a cooler in the left lane. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Oil Change centers. You don't have to get out of your car, and it usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Plus, get a free courtesy check of your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Vicky Pepper with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better.
Slots and tables and all the best rewards. Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Yeah! Give me a do damage.
Do damage.
Here's the 3 Candelario, first pitch swinging, sends one in the air to deep right center field and gone. A home run just over the yellow line in the right center field gap. Candelario hits his 5th of the year, and now a 1-1 game in the bottom of the first. Second at bat is a Padre for Peralta, struck out in the second inning. First pitch coming in, a ground ball to the right side. India was shallow. He's coming home. The throw in the tag. Not in time. Profar scores. And on his way, the throw goes into second, and they got an out there. The run scores, obviously. It's out number 2, and the Padre lead is now 3-1. As Wade was tied up at second base, and Martini threw behind him. Kind of an awkward collision with Ellie De La Cruz, who was able to tag him out. So an RBI single for Fernando, though the Reds get an out on the play. And Profar swings at the first pitch, trying to find a gap in left center. He does. It's going to roll all the way to the track. Racing around third comes Tatis. He'll score an RBI double for Jurickson Profar, and the Padre lead is 4-1. A little school outside of Boston called Harvard University. Here's a line drive base hit into left center. Profar will round third and score easily. An RBI. Martini charging, plays it on a hop. Wade racing around third. Here's the throw and the tag, not in time. Arise goes up to second base behind the throw. An RBI single and a 7-1. Again, here's the pitch from Suarez Martini. Swings and misses, strike 3, and the ball game is over. Get off the field, get dry. Padres with a 7-3 win over the Reds, and we'll have ourselves a rubber game here tomorrow afternoon.
We'll make some pitches there in the sixth, but went out there and grabbed 2 outs in the seventh, which is big with our bullpen. And Wadi did a nice job to close that inning out and get that double play ball to get the eighth. And of course, Suarez brought it home and made sure we stayed dry.
4 more hits for Luis Arise as the Padres beat the Reds 7-3, ending the 2-game losing and scoreless streak and doing it quickly. On the first batter of the game on the solo home run, his first home run of the season, first home run as a member of the San Diego Padres. You know, Luis Arise was hitting .299, which is good when he was acquired by the Padres. He had gotten off to a bit of a slow start, was just starting to heat up a little bit. Since joining the Padres, though, Arise is batting .391 and has increased his batting average to .330, which puts him in the top 5 now in the National League, behind leader Shohei Ohtani, who's in like the 350s, and then Jurickson Profar is second still in the National League. But Luis Arise is definitely closing fast and in the conversation for a third consecutive batting title, which is very Tony Gwynn-like to do something like that.
Sure is a fun AB to watch every single time. Appointment viewing for, as I've said, a quote-unquote slappy singles hitter. Appointment. Like, he's up, I got to run, I got to watch this AB. I have to see him. 0-2, he worked that count, Benny. Worked it full, hit the bomb. So awesome, dude. So awesome. I mean, if you're Nick Martinez, you're like, cool. First one of the year, and it's off me against my old team. I thought it was a brilliant AB, and he turned in, 4 of them last night. He's a really good hitter. Really good hitter.
I saw it on Twitter, so I didn't verify it. I assume it's accurate.
If it's on Twitter, it's true.
The Luis Arise in his career, in his nearly 3,000 plate appearances, has taken a called strike 3 once.
What? That can't
Once.
be. That can't be.
Now, he's struck out more. He swung and missed, as they all do. He does it less than just about anybody else in baseball. But in 3,000 times at the plate in his career, he has taken a called strike 3 once. If he swings, he usually makes contact. And if it's close to the plate, he's usually swinging. Now, he'll take a walk or 2, but you have to miss by a couple of inches. He'll take some early pitches, but once you get to 2 strikes, he will protect that plate hard.
I was going to say,
he's not going to go down on one the umpire's not going to ring him up on a pitch that's an inch or 2 outside. He's just going to slap it foul probably the other way and make contact because he has such great fast hands and such great hand-eye coordination that it doesn't matter if the pitch is low or a little outside. He's going to get a piece of it if he swings.
The 0-2 pitch that Martinez threw him actually nicked the zone. That would have been his second strikeout looking in his career, 3,000
apparently,
bats.
yes.
But it nicked the zone, and Nick didn't get the call, and that was ball 1. And next thing you know, works it full and hits a home run to start the game. It was fantastic. But obviously, getting contributions up and down the lineup is never going to be a bad thing. Ever, ever, ever. And you got them from your big guys, which we were so desperately clamoring for yesterday. Manny, Knox, Tatis, RBI, Profar, those guys, everyone contributed last night in some way, shape, or form. Michael King, again, though, set the tone. 3 earned runs, 6 2/3. Ball was moving, striking out guys, couple walks, but really, competed hard last night. So really excellent win for the San Diego Padres last night. As is life and baseball, great. Do it again today. Win the series. Because I'll tell you, they're coming home. They have not played well at home. They're running into a pretty gnarly Yankees team. And then, did you see this? That the Marlins have lined up 3 lefties to face the San Diego Padres when they are in town.
The book is out.
So the book is out. And maybe that's just how it all fell. But they're going to end up facing 3 tough lefties from the Marlins as well. Luzardo
was great last night.
He went
8 shutout innings. I think
innings.
the other 2 have not gotten off to good starts.
But they're left-handed pitchers.
But they're left-handed. And we talked to Mike Shildt about that already this morning, and he's confident that, that they'll be fine. These guys hit lefties really, really well.
Yeah.
Nothing specifically that he's going like, well, we need to do this or that against left-handers. I mean, if they're hitting righties, there's no reason why they shouldn't be hitting lefties. They are good right-handed hitters. It's generally easier to hit left-handers. And they proved that in their career.
One would think, the track record speaks pretty loudly for all of those guys against left-handed pitching. It just hasn't materialized yet. So, not gonna panic about it. You're gonna get, like I said, you're gonna get 3 opportunities at least against the Marlins, and I don't know what the Yankees are running out. I'm sure you'll see. Do they have the lineups?
I think I looked at it yesterday.
Rodon's
I think it's Rodon, Stroman, and Clark Schmidt.
Lefty, righty, righty. Okay, so you'll get your opportunity with 4 lefties in 6 games. So, you got to figure it out. You got to figure out a way to mash those guys.
Speaking of lefties, Wandy Peralta also coming in with an inning and a third, and then Robert Suarez in the last inning. The Padres bullpen, which had some shaky moments. Let's be honest. Earlier in the season, lately, last 2 weeks or so, have been fantastic,
outstanding,
top to bottom, up and down.
Yeah.
The first guy, the last guy.
What's their streak at now?
Everybody, they've given up, 1 run in the last
probably
20 innings or so?
Yeah, it's really good.
And Robert Suarez obviously hasn't given up a single run. He stretched his streak to close to 20 innings, I think, yesterday as well, with his shutout frame, lowering his ERA to 0.42 this season.
Still can't.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I still can't get over that last night, that moment when the lightning struck, and he didn't even flinch. I'm like, how does that happen? Like, it's human nature. Talk about being in a zone. Oh my God! I was like, that was loud. I mean, Mudd and Don yelped. It was nasty. Did you see that lightning meter they had? I'd never seen that before.
With the
that was
different lights
awesome.
and everything.
That was cool. I had no idea.
Midwestern things that I didn't even know existed.
Don't really need it here. But no, it was a great win last night.
It's like a traffic light. But the red, and then there's yellow, and then there's like a blue and a green, and shows you how close the lightning actually is. I had no idea that such a thing existed.
I had no idea.
Also, the fact that Mike Shildt got David Peralta into the lineup in his first game, and he contributed with an RBI ground out with first and third. Nice slide and play by Jurickson Profar to score on that play. That contributed to the lead in the 4th inning. And then, of course, Padres scored 3 in the 5th. The way that they generally put together the big innings, kind of the same. It's usually a lot of singles, maybe 1 double when they put those multi-run crooked numbers, as Mudd likes to call them, innings together. A lot of BABIP, line drives. That's the way they've scored big innings. I don't know the number, but it's not like they had a couple grand slams, but mostly it hasn't been like 3-run homers. It's been 5 singles all strung together at the right time that produces the most big innings for the Padres this season.
You got a little lucky, too, which evened out. Same play that Crony biffed the night before. Their first baseman, Biff, last night went over his head and scored another run there. They added on. They did everything they needed to do. And then, like you said, the bullpen came in and locked it down. And that's the recipe for success for any baseball team, but especially these San Diego Padres of ours.
All right, Paulie's got a little audio treat for us coming up next, following up from our Rent-A-Friend segment yesterday. And then we'll play some Real or Fake, a chance to qualify for the trip to Las Vegas coming up in our next segment. Lots to get to, not a lot of time. It's Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Got a lot to get to in the next 30 minutes, including real or fake, chance to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas, and Don't Do This is ahead, have a talking head on television. And I really hope I never become the person who gets mad for no reason just because you're getting older and don't understand something.
I mean, I do that. I feel like that's when the Incredible Boomer comes out sometimes, but not about things like this, I don't think.
That's we got that coming up for sure. We'll talk more Padres baseball, more on the Xander Bogaerts injury, and missing whatever it is going to be a significant amount of time that he's out. He's hoping 2 months. I think realistically, it's probably more like 3 plus some rehab. So we may not see Xander again until the last month of the season or so for the San Diego Padres. I guess you hope that they're playing good baseball, they're in playoff contention, and he provides a shot in the arm down the stretch.
No pun intended.
Is he going to be, when he comes back, will he be Xander? Will he be struggling again? We don't know. It's certainly not easy to not play for 2 or 3 months and then just pick it right up in a pennant race, but that's probably what they're going to ask Xander Bogaerts to do later this season.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they pay him for, and getting him back at that time, if he can come in and be even close to what he's been in his career, nice little pickup there for the home stretch.
What we pay Paul Reindl for is fairly unique in terms of jobs. I mean, he's got the normal radio producer type duties, running our board, and
he does have duties.
Printing out our show rundowns and making sure all the commercials play every day, helping set up the guests. He does a great job at all of that. But really, what we pay him for is fun with audio.
Correct.
And he's the best.
I've
ever seen at having fun with audio. And yesterday, Woods, you brought to the table some incredible audio of a guy from the 1980s.
86.
Who put together a 40-plus minute VHS video that you could rent. Go and get it, order it on.
Order it online. Not online. Order it through the mail.
Through the mail.
There's no online.
Yeah. Get it sent
not
to
even
you,
there, I don't think.
And he would be your friend on TV.
Hi. I'm Sam. And basically, I'm here because I want to be your friend.
It's so creepy.
It's just a guy in a chair, like just one-on-one with a camera in his house.
And the gist of it is, if you're lonely, he'll be your friend, and you talk to him through the screen, and he pretends that he can talk to you as well.
He got weird. Like,
hot diggity dog.
I'd rather have no friends.
I don't think cringy was an expression back in the 80s, but if it was, this would apply.
It's creepy, cringy, all of it. And so we played it yesterday, and I mean, some people got
it. What's the noise he makes? It's even worse. He just likes to make that noise.
Yeah, he said, do you guys like to make noises like this? And so he's a very odd guy, but he did this thing, and it's out there in 43 minutes long. I'm going to listen to it in its entirety finally this weekend, now that I've got some time on my hands. But somebody
when my sister's dates would come to the house, they'd knock on the door. I'd run downstairs and be excited to greet them, and I'd open the door, and they'd say, "Hi, is Mary there?" And I'd go, "No."
Like, he's doing this video to be your friend.
Right.
If anybody did that in front of me, I don't want to be your
also,
friend.
I don't think I want to date Mary after that at all. Like, if that's her bloodline.
Mary had trouble getting a second date.
And I just run upstairs after her,
He's so weird. It's so weird. It's like 43 minutes of that weirdness. Paulie watched more. He said it gets even weirder.
It gets
so
much
like
more
super weird. So,
holy crap.
Somebody in the chat yesterday said, it'd be great to hear Carving Guy and this guy have a conversation. And Paulie said, no problem. Jazz.
Hi.
Good evening.
Basically, I'm here because I want to be your friend.
All right.
I've been looking forward to this moment for quite some time.
Well, that's great. Did you catch a game last night?
I don't know. I'm out of work right now. I'm between jobs. Let's put it that way. And I've done a lot of interesting jobs, though, actually, in my time.
All right.
I've been a waiter and a bartender. Have you ever done that by any chance? Worked in a restaurant?
Actually.
Have you tried the lasagna? It's my favorite.
Overall, it was all right, yeah.
Well, that's great.
My sister used to invite people over just to play with my nose and to bite my nose. Would you like to bite my nose?
Would that be all right?
Oh, boy.
You can always come back up for more.
I'm in a really good mood, and I hope you're feeling good, too.
Do you like hot fudge sundaes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it still hot out there?
Hot diggity dog.
Have you decided what dessert you're going to have?
How could I forget?
Well, that's great.
All right, you're in a hurry, I know. So, it's been great, and take care. I'll see you around.
All right.
Yeah. So long, friend. Bye.
I could listen to it all day. I could listen to it all day long. I need a long form. Bob Dylan asked 18 minutes.
So the only problem with that was the carving guy video. The full video was only about 10 minutes.
I know.
He only says like 7 or 8 different things.
Just his catchphrases.
Just the catchphrases. Yeah. It's mostly the narrator explaining on your shift duties, this is how you wash the knife. So there wasn't a whole lot of carving. I had 43 minutes of the other lunatic to work with.
I love it so much. I could listen to it all day, man.
Hi.
Good evening.
Those two together, man. What I wouldn't do to get those guys in a room.
Those two just sitting at a bar and the bartender going, this is the 2 weirdest people in the world.
I have actual tears, man. Holy cow. I love it so much. I love them. I love both of their weird voices. It just...
Should we do it one more time?
Yes.
Yeah.
It just murders me.
Hi.
Good evening.
Basically, I'm here because I want to be your friend.
All right.
I've been looking forward to this moment for quite some time.
Well, that's great. Did you catch a game last night?
I don't know. I'm out of work right now. I'm between jobs. Let's put it that way. And I've done a lot of interesting jobs, though, actually, in my time.
All right.
I've been a waiter and a bartender. Have you ever done that by any chance? You know, worked in a restaurant?
Have you tried the lasagna? It's my favorite.
Overall, it was all right, yeah.
Well, that's great.
My sister used to invite people over just to play with my nose.
What?
And to bite my nose. Would you like to bite my nose?
Would that be all right?
Oh, boy.
You can always come back up for more.
I'm in a really good mood, and I hope you're feeling good, too.
Do you like hot fudge sundaes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it still hot out there?
Hot diggity dog.
Have you decided what dessert you're going to have?
How could I forget?
Well, that's great.
All right, you're in a hurry, I know. So,
Holy crap.
it's been great, and take care. I'll see you around.
All right.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
So long, friend.
See you, buddy.
Bye.
That part with the nose, we didn't play that.
We did not play that. That was new
yes.
to me. I did not heard that.
He starts talking about how he's got a giant nose, and he starts like squishing it and moving it around. He goes, "Can you do this?" And he's like moving his nose. He goes, "You know what else I love?" And he starts rubbing his nose. He goes, "Nose grease. I love nose grease. My sister used to have her friends come up to me and bite my nose." And he's getting right up to the camera. He goes, "Do you want to bite my nose?"
Oh.
It was so. I was like, "What in the F?"
What is happening?
So, Woods, you're going to Joshua Tree.
Mm-hmm.
I won't incriminate you, but anything that you may be partaking in today, just do me a favor.
Just some good vibes. That's
Take
it.
those good vibes, smoke those good vibes, fire up this 43-minute rent-a-friend video. Holy
I'm just
hell.
gonna take notes on it. That is fantastic stuff, Paulie. Really, really well played.
Hot diggity dog.
Hot diggity dog.
No,
Nose
I'm
grease.
worried about nose grease now.
He needs to be arrested.
Need a contestant for real or fake? If you want to call in right now, 833-288-0973. Still need to qualify more people for our monthly getaway to the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino. 2 nights, 2 tickets to Warrant, Lita Ford, and Pearlandra on June 22nd. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino features newly designed premier rooms, part of their $70 million in room renovations, home of legendary Vegas fun. And while everybody calls in, why don't we play the intro and get started?
Some are here for the compelling sports talk with Ben and Woods. You can go plow through another donut. It's time for Real or Fake on 97.3 The Fan. Tell the people what they'll win today.
I just told you what you can win today, and it looks like we got David calling in. David, you there?
I'm there. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. You're our contestant today on Real or Fake, which all you need to do is get 4 out of 7 correct, and we will put you into our grand prize drawing. And you don't even have to beat Woods. In fact, he can help you today.
That's
and
right.
I would hope he can help you on this one, because here's what your category is. With Woods headed to Joshua Tree after the show, thought this would be a good chance to quiz everyone on California's national parks, of which Joshua Tree is one. So today on Real or Fake, I'll give you a name. You tell me if it's a real national park in the state of California or a fake. In this case, it'll be a national park in like Colorado or Utah. So you got to know California parks. How do you think you're going to do here, David?
Oh, I don't know.
All right.
My geography's not that good.
All right, here we go. Well, maybe Woods can help you. Round number 1, Real or Fake California National Park. Mesa Verde National Park.
I'll say real.
That one is in Colorado, unfortunately. So 0 for 1. That's okay. We got plenty of time left. You just need 4 correct. 6 more chances. All right, round number 2. Kings Canyon National Park.
I know that's a park, but where exactly now? Let's see. What do you want to help me?
I'm going to say real. Sounds very real. Kings Canyon.
I mean, they're all real. It's just whether they're in California or not. All right, David, you say real?
I'm going with them, yeah.
All right. That is correct. That one is in California. All right, that's 1 correct. Let's go to round number 3. Pinnacles National Park. Pinnacles National Park.
Let's go with Wizard again.
Oh, great. I'm going to say fake on Pinnacles.
Fake on that one. David?
I'm going with them. Go with fake.
You both are wrong. Because that one, and I hadn't even heard of that one. That one is real in the state of California.
That's in California.
Yeah,
You know where?
Yeah, more in the northern
North. You just
part
guessing.
of it.
You don't know. Northern.
I don't, actually, because I'd never heard of it before. All right, here we go. Round number 4.
Okay.
Canyonlands National Park.
That sounds
Canyonlands.
fake. That sounds fake, but I bet you it's real. Wizzy, what do you think?
I'm going to roll with your gut.
Okay, we'll go with my gut.
Gut was
Fake.
Fake, but it's real?
Fake, but it's
what's
real,
the
or
answer?
real, but
Real
it's
or
fake?
fake?
Let's see.
Fake.
Fake.
Been to that one. That one is in Utah and Colorado, so that's correct. So we are now 2 for 4. We go to round number 5. Great Sand Dunes National Park.
That's got to be. I think fake. What do you think,
I
Wizzy?
think it's real.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with the real
Let's
then.
go real.
You know when you drive,
so sorry.
you're driving out toward Yuma.
Yeah.
I would have guessed it had to be. It's in Colorado, not in California.
Idiot.
All right, that
Sorry.
means you
All
got to
right,
get these.
We got it.
Got to get these last 2 correct to qualify for the grand prize.
All right, we got it.
Great Basin National Park. Great Basin National Park. Real or fake in California?
I feel fake. What do you think, Wizzy?
Fake.
Fake?
We're going fake.
Final answer? It is fake. That one is in Utah.
All right, here we go.
Where the Great Salt Lake and everything is in the center of the country. All right, that all comes down to round 7 here. For the win.
Every week.
For all the marbles, real or fake, California National Park. Lassen Volcanic National Park. Real or fake?
Volcanic National Park. I think that would be real. What do you think, Wizzy? California?
I don't know. Real. Yeah, let's go real.
Going real.
Going real.
Going real, and you are... Yes! You're right! That one is in Northern California. And you have qualified for our grand prize drawing. Congratulations on a tense, dramatic, and ultimately successful game of real or fake.
Now, I will not cheat at Take on Woods.
No?
I will 100% cheat at this one. I basically was waiting for the chat to tell me if that was real. And they did. So, just so you know.
I would have been wrong on both of those. I would have guessed fake on Lassen Volcanic National Park and
that
also
was a
on
tough
Pinnacles.
one in that they were all real.
They're all national parks.
Yeah, they are all real, yeah.
We got a lineup out, and it is interesting.
It's fascinating.
From what I hear.
Ooh, okay. Well, let's tease that coming up.
Titillating.
We also have the Don't Do This audio we talked about earlier with one of the Talking Heads Not a baseball fan, apparently, or at least not a modern baseball fan.
Weird.
We'll get to that coming up next after a check of traffic with Vicky Pepper here on 97.3 The Fan. Woods made an executive decision during the break to push back, don't do this, to our next segment because the Padres lineup, as you mentioned, is out. And now I wish we had asked Mike Shildt about this because this is a little unexpected and worth some discussion. So we're going to stop down everything else and to give you the lineup and then discuss what it means possibly for the San Diego Padres. So here's what we've got today for the series finale against the Reds at Great American Ballpark coming up at 10:10 this morning. Leading off, Luis Arraez, but playing first base. Batting second, the designated hitter, Fernando Tatis Jr. Jurickson Profar batting third in left field. Jake Cronenworth playing second base and batting cleanup. Manny Machado at third, hitting fifth. David Peralta will take Tatis' spot in the outfield and bat sixth in right. Jackson Merrill in center, hitting seventh. Ha-Seong Kim playing shortstop and batting eighth. And, of course, with Matt Waldron on the mound, Kyle Higashioka doing the catching and batting ninth. So it's the most notable thing here is the Arraez-Cronenworth switch. Because you could leave Jake at first and leave Arraez at second. That's where they played yesterday. And now today you're switching that around. Defensively, clearly that's a better alignment, right, for the Padres to have Jake at second and Arraez at first?
Yeah, you're stronger definitely up the middle than you were yesterday. I looked at the sliders. I was talking to our buddy Josh this morning on Twitter, and he's like, I mean, Arraez literally is one of the worst defensive second baseman in baseball. His range is in the negative. Like he's got like mine and Paulie's range, I think, at second. Maybe a little bit better. But I think it's pitcher dependent as well. Do you? Like, do you think that has something to do with it as well? The fact that Waldron's on the
Padres have nothing but right-handed starters. So
yeah, that's true.
You're always going to have a left-handed heavy lineup.
Is it knuckleball?
Is it different
because
it's the knuckleball? I don't know. That's what I maybe would have liked to have asked Mike Shildt about if we had known about this. But I'm sure he'll shed some light after the game, and we'll see the lineups going forward if there's a pattern here, and whether it's specific to pitchers like Waldron, or if maybe he just decided this is a better way to go. Maybe they had a holistic meeting of general manager and staff, and they decided that. I think going up the middle with our better defensive player in Jake Cronenworth, as well as he's done at first base, and he's had a really good season defensively. You're downgrading now at first base, but they say that second base is a much more valuable position defensively. So if you have a better defender there, shouldn't you put him there?
I think the answer is yeah. I think the answer is yes. I don't know how long. Again, just from knowing Crony a little bit, I really don't think he cares. I really, honestly, we've asked him that question, and I believe him when he tells me I don't care where I play.
Now, remember the numbers. The numbers did not bear that out last year.
Correct.
He was at second. When he was at second,
he was mashing.
No, I think he was terrible.
No,
he was mashing when he was everywhere else, right?
No, he was mashing at second.
He did mash at second.
He was not mashing at first. He was mashing at second. Mashing. And they moved him to first.
Right.
So
you're right.
I think, this is what you have to do when a guy goes down. When Xander goes down, you're going to have to be, you have to move around, you have to be pliable. And the good news is our roster is constructed in such a way that we can do things like this. So I'm not overly concerned about it at all. But yeah, I mean, somebody said you should just DH Arraez. I think, from what I understand, he likes playing in the field. Just like a lot. I mean, he doesn't feel like a DH at this point.
Well, who would you play at second then if you're DHing Arraez?
Solano maybe, or you could do Solano. You could do they could do so much actually. They can mix it up a lot. Profar can play first. We've seen that. Solano can play second. I was texting with someone yesterday, and I said, wouldn't it be interesting if Fernando Tatis Jr., who, again, takes grounders at short, goes back and plays shortstop at some point? Because I know he's expressed interest in doing it.
Ha-Seong Kim
could play second base. Yeah, I mean, you got David Peralta. The thing I like about this, too, is again, I don't want to rip on Sugar. He's a fourth outfielder, but you don't feel that lineup with the addition of David Peralta, Ben. You don't feel like, oh, cool, here's that punt lineup that everyone likes to say that we're running out there. No, it's not. I mean, you basically have switched two guys' positions and added David Peralta instead of Azócar, and I think that's an upgrade, offensively at least.
Well, certainly with Peralta there, getting the option of having Tatis get a day off his feet, he definitely needs one. He's been playing out there almost every single day running into fences and walls and throwing his body around. So it's more than probably overdue that Tatis at least got a DH day.
No doubt.
You're still going to need DH days for Manny Machado. He's been playing more consistently at third base, which is great. The defensive play he made the other day, just the smooth Manny into foul territory, throwing across his body, perfect throw across the diamond is amazing, and you want him out there as much as possible, but he needs his days off as well. And I imagine you'll probably just kind of rotate through the lineup with guys getting DH days and putting in either Peralta or Solano as long as Bogarts is down. And it's good because they are veteran guys, hopefully, who can perform and, aren't over the hill. We don't know if David Peralta is still going to be a great hitter. I mean, he definitely wasn't terrific last year for the Dodgers, but he's put up numbers in the past, and in his career, 279 hitter, I think. You'd just love to see something like that, some kind of production around those numbers for David Peralta if he's going to have to be out there on a fairly consistent basis.
Yeah, I don't know if people are asking, do you think this is permanent? I really don't know that you can say anything is permanent as it pertains.
If it works well today, it probably will continue.
They might ride it again.
Doesn't work for some reason, maybe they choose something else. Ha-Seong Kim is back in there. Right, he had the day off yesterday. He just has not been able to totally get going, and I haven't noticed anything different.
Not really
necessarily about swing.
A little better. He's playing a little better.
Well, yeah, I mean he's hitting some line drives. He has 6 homers. He's not like lost at the plate. He's just not putting up the kind of production that we started seeing the last couple of years out of Ha-Seong Kim. Maybe a day off will help him back into the lineup. And then there's the constant chorus of, why is Kyle Higashioka still getting starts? And I don't know how many times I have to say, you need a backup catcher. Someone has to be out there. Someone's got to catch Matt Waldron. They're obviously not asking Luis Campusano to do it. So you're going to see Higashioka out there pretty much every time Waldron pitches. Yeah. And he had some decent at-bats his last start, I thought.
He hit the ball hard, but listen. At the end of the day, if Arise, Tatis, Profar, Cronenworth, Machado, Peralta, Merrill, and Kim do what they're supposed to do, it really shouldn't matter what Kyle Higashioka does at the plate. Try to control, try to keep the running game in check a little bit if you can. You're not going to do any worse than Luis Campusano at that if you're Kyle Higashioka. And,
Higgy had 10 home runs the last 2 seasons in a strictly backup role for the New York Yankees.
In a much easier park to hit in, though.
True,
for sure.
But,
he's in Cincinnati today.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, he's bound to run into a couple here or there. He's got one. He's due for at least a few more at this season based on his career numbers. They're not using him differently necessarily than the Yankees were. He's got it in him to at least pop a few out. And, he's not going to ever be an offensive star, but he's better than what I think we've seen so far offensively from Kyle Higashioka.
Yeah, again, it should not matter with the guys 1 through 8. It honestly should not matter in the slightest what he does. He needs to do his job today as a backup catcher, keep Waldron in the zone, keep Waldron dialed in, and try to keep that knuckleball corralled, and that's really the best that he can do right now.
All right, we will come back. The postponed Don't Do This coming up next. Always a reminder, you can listen to Sam Levitt's podcast, Inside San Diego Baseball. Covers everything. You can get all his pre- and post-game show news right there on his Inside San Diego Baseball podcast. You can find it at 973thefansd.com, the Odyssey app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Sammy coming up at 9:10 this morning with his Eco Water SoCal pregame show, which means we've got just over 90 minutes remaining of Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on Ben and Woods is brought to you by Prize Picks. Join the biggest moments in sports with Prize Picks. Pick your players, pick your stats, pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details. Get more into the Xander Bogaerts injury coming up in just a couple of minutes. But get to our postponed by one segment edition of Don't Do This right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Vicki Pepper.
This report brought to you by the Fish Market, serving the freshest catches from waters near, far, and everywhere in between. The Cordell and Cordell traffic cam shows a crash on the 15 north at Friars. It's moved to the shoulder, but still causing a pocket of slowing. Before, after the game, or when they're on the road, join the Fish Market's downtown location for happy hour every Monday through Friday from 3 to 6. Enjoy $2 shuck oysters, appetizer specials, $8 margaritas, and more. The Fish Market's downtown happy hour Monday through Friday from 3 to 6. I'm Vicki Pepper with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Don't do this.
I got a little surprise for you, you know what I'm saying?
Don't do this.
Listen, if I've said something bad, tell me I'm a bad boy. Just tell me I'm a bad boy.
Why? Just why?
I get the argument. You don't have to explain it to me. I'm not a moron.
Let me tell you why I am a dumbass.
It's time for Don't Do This.
Don't do this.
On 97.3 The Fan.
What is a moron?
A moron. It's a moron. Don't Do This on a Throwback Thursday is brought to you by the Craft Taco in Sorrento Valley. The Craft Taco is some of the best quality tacos in all of San Diego. Go to thecrafttaco.com. Take a look at their happy hour specials today. crafttaco.com. And I got to thank Tier 1 Jordan in North Carolina. Sent me the video yesterday. Reposted it. It's gone kind of viral around the country. So it is this week, the NCAA Golf Championships are taking place here in San Diego at the newly redesigned La Costa Omni La Costa Resort and Spa. And one of the teams that arrived on Monday, East Tennessee State University. And they flew in on a Delta flight to Lindbergh Field. And as they were pulling into the gate, they were taking video out their window, and they could see the baggage handlers for Delta just absolutely taking their golf clubs off the plane and just chucking them like onto the tarmac, like not taking any care at all, just landing right there on the hard concrete, just one after the other.
It's a golfer's nightmare, straight up.
Like
straight up.
And these guys are coming to participate in the NCAA championship, and they sent the tweet like, "Nice of Delta to handle our clubs with such care," and that video has gone viral around the country. The airline industry already is not one of the most popular in the country to begin with. I will say, I heard from one of my friends at Goat Hill. He said the East Tennessee State University golf team was at Goat Hill at the range yesterday practicing, because it's not far from La Costa, probably near where they're staying. And he said they have been contacted by Delta. They want to make it right. They apologized for the video. I'm sure Delta's in PR scrambling mode here. No one wants to see. I get it. Being a baggage handler is not probably a fun job. It's tough, and you can't be gingerly, just gently taking every single bag, or it's going to take way too long, and you're going to be there for an hour and a half waiting for your bag to get there.
They're doing this like sports.
Yeah,
though.
They really are throwing them.
Can they not just like unhitch that cart?
Pull the cart back to the deal. Like, work smarter, not harder. Back the cart up and then lay it on.
Hurts my back just watching. What
it really
doing,
does.
But
Have you ever had your golf clubs damaged in a flight? On a
I
flight?
don't think so.
My clubs have never been damaged. My bag, my Ben and Woods bag, my favorite bag that our buddy Jason got us from Callaway. It's so rad. The stand, they put something on top of it and it bent the stand in half. So when I place it down, it falls. Which, hey, listen, Cadillac problems, man. Go get a new bag, whatever. You can't just replace that stand part though. So that was kind of a bummer. I didn't raise a stink about it. I just wore it because that's what I do. It's just dumb. I probably could have gotten a new.
You could file a grievance and a complaint and go through the channels and however long that takes.
It's a custom bag too,
yeah,
so it's
nice.
And it's not like I can just go buy another one. It was one of one. So hey, it happens.
One of three.
One of three. Yeah, you got one and Paulie got one. That's exactly right. Yeah, one of three. Sorry. But no, it's a bummer. But hey, listen, at least they tried to make it right. This is pretty phenomenal audio. And like Ben said earlier, you never want to get to this point in when you're talking about watching sports. So Michael Wilbon of PTI was on with his buddy, Tony Kornheiser, and they were doing a little segment about exit velocity, and I guess you would consider that an advanced stat. At least it is to Michael Wilbon. Check this out.
Now is it no deal? It angers me. And in talking about this and thinking about it, and I'm glad we're doing this topic, Tony. So let me ask you something. The velo, the exit velo, does it mean he's a better hitter than Tony Gwynn, who might have dribbled the field through the infield in his day and hit about 330 career and flirted with 400 once?
Pause.
Meaning a better hitter?
All right. So you already lose the argument with me because, again, stop comparing people to Tony Gwynn. Stop comparing pitchers of today to Nolan Ryan. If you take the unicorns of the game out of the game, it's going to be a better watch for you, right? It's going to be a better product for you to enjoy. If you why can't these guys go 165 pitches like old Hoss Radbourne used to do? Take those dudes out of your thinking, and this product will be a better product. Continue.
Meaning a better hitter than him? And so what? So what? He's a 260 hitter. So why do I give a damn about the exit velo? I don't. Mm-hmm. And so I guess people need this, Tony, to become interested and more fascinated. And they go, oh, wow. Not only do I not go, oh, wow, it has started the ruination of watching sports for me. Numbers like this repeatedly and put up on the screen day in, day out. It has ruined it because people aren't concentrating on the fact that he is 260 instead of 330. They're concentrating on exit velo. That's just me. You're older than me and more crotchety than me, at least you used to be. How you feeling about it?
So they've been, and somebody made the point in the thread, they've been putting miles per hour on television for a long time. Like, you see how hard the pitcher's throwing.
I understand that some of the advanced metrics are a bit difficult to approach, like
That's
WRC plus, and you got to at least understand numbers. Exit velocity does not require an advanced degree to understand.
It requires eyesight.
Why that is important and is good for a hitter to hit the ball hard.
It's the first lesson I taught my T-ballers. I don't care where you hit it. Your job with the ball off the tee at 5 years old is to hit the ball
Now,
hard.
ultimately, yes, results are good, and you'd rather have a higher average than a higher exit velocity. But even Michael Wilbon must understand that if you had a hitter and he hit 10 absolute screaming lineouts,
115 miles an hour,
and you had a hitter who had 10 just bloops and they happened to fall in, yes, the hitter with the bloops has a much better batting average and the numbers look better. Which one would you want going forward, though? The guy who's hitting screaming liners every time, or the guy who's just getting lucky and the ball is falling where the defenders are not? You want to go with the guy who's hitting the screaming liners every time. That's simple. It's intuitive. I mean, you're telling me essentially you're not an intuitive person if you're not understanding why exit velocity is a cool and important stat to understand why that helps being a good hitter.
How would that not be interesting to somebody to go, oh my God, the guy hit that ball 100. We love when athletes do things we can't do. Caitlin Clark hit a 3 the other night. From about 80 feet, it looked like, and I went, oh my God, that's insane.
Does he also go, I don't need to know that Mike Trout hit that one 437. Did it go over the wall or did it not go over the wall?
It's so, the generalization.
I mean, it's cool to see how far it went. Like, he hit that one 480 feet. That's amazing. It's more amazing than a guy who hit a wall scraper at 342 feet.
So, I mean, you can imagine, dude, he got dragged in this, and the main gist of everyone's saying basically, nah, man, nonstop shows like this with the talking head punditry, as well as the constant gambling emphasis. Now, that I can get behind. It's not going to ruin baseball for me. It's not. And there's nothing they could do to make me not watch baseball. You've got me for life. You always will. That I understand that. But, people are like, how about the sports betting odds push through your network, ESPN? That's basically what everybody is saying. All they're telling you, man, is the guy is putting the barrel on the ball, and that's a good thing inherently. It's going to lead to better results if you hit the ball hard, and it's true. It's true. I told you about my friend that played in the Rockies organization, and they graded them on barrels. They didn't grade them on hits. How many barrels did you catch today? 4? Great. You had an A. Oh, you got 0 barrels, but you got 4 hits. You got a D.
And by the way, you know why Luis Arias is such a good hitter? Because he hits the barrel.
Hits the barrel.
Hits the barrel.
That's right. That's right.
He may not swing hard,
right,
but he's getting good line drive action off of his balls more often than not.
But like hitting the ball hard and knowing how hard they hit it would never bother me. I think that's awesome. Like, oh, God, scorch that ball. It's such a generalization. And out of all the things to choose about baseball that makes you not want to watch anymore, that's the one that they put 121 exit velo up there. That's awesome to me.
All right, finally, some do this here on a Thursday.
DD Mega Doo-Doo.
And I thought this was a very cool moment, keeping it in the San Diego Padres family. Last night for the Single-A Lake Elsinore Storm, not only did shortstop Wyatt Hoffman hit his first home run of the season, also had the walk-off winning sacrifice fly to lift the Storm to a victory. Wyatt is a shortstop in the Padres organization and does happen to be the son of Trevor Hoffman. Now, I don't think he's considered like one of the top prospects on the team. He's a 25-year-old now. Every organization needs organizational guys, though, and it's cool to see Wyatt coming through last night for Lake Elsinore. Would he be on the team if he wasn't Trevor Hoffman's son? I don't know. You need players like that in your organization who understand what being a Padre is all about. And, if he keeps getting opportunities, who knows if maybe there's a chance for him to move up in the organization. But I thought last night was cool seeing Wyatt not only get a home run, but also the walk-off sacrifice fly game winner for the Storm.
Yeah, hell yeah. Love it.
That's Don't and Do This for a Thursday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we talked a little bit about it earlier, but the bad news for Xander Bogaerts with the MRI coming back yesterday showing that it is indeed a fracture in his left shoulder, and he's going to need an extended period on the injured list before he could return. We talked to Mike Shildt this morning. He doesn't know exactly still how long that might be. Xander said 2 to 3 months when he spoke in the clubhouse to Kevin Acee and others. He said, I'm a quick healer. I expect to be back fast, but you can't ever really predict that. Even if you've been a quick healer on other things in the past, a broken bone's a broken bone. And it's going to take however long it's going to take, and then you're going to have to get back into playing shape and get your swing back in shape. So let's not expect to see Xander again. Well, we're here near the end of May. Probably late August to September is probably
that long.
Yeah, that's 2 to 3 months. End of the summer is what they're saying. So
end of July, maybe.
That would be 2 months. That would be fast.
I read 2 months.
He said 2 to 3. If they told him 2 to 3, I would lean more toward the 3.
Okay.
That's just getting healthy. Then you got to get back at least, a week or two to
timing and whatnot.
Go back, do a minor league rehab stint. But to see him back on the field in the San Diego Padres, I would expect late August into the last month of the season. Now, that is enough time that you can still play a major role and contribute to the San Diego Padres here in 2024, especially if the team's in a pennant race and goes to the playoffs. You could be a playoff star in October. Have a month to get ready and hopefully be in prime shape when the Padres get to the end of the season. They just have to still be there by the time he gets back. So we've talked about the different ways that they can manage. Today's lineup is certainly one of them.
Yeah, they've got players to do it.
Yeah, bumping Jake Cronenworth over to second base and playing Arias at first base, which they're doing today. Will that be the regular situation? We'll see what Mike Shildt is going to do to make up for Xander Bogaerts not being in the lineup going forward.
And, guys need to step up. And, again, I know he didn't contribute a ton this year offensively, but he was, again, coming out of it a little bit. Did show some signs of pop lately as well. So, yeah, you're going to have to figure out a way to make up for that. And nice to see some of the guys last night that we needed to step up, Benny. We've been beating the tables for it. They did. They stepped up. Some extra base hits as well. Some clutch knocks. It was good to see, and that's exactly what we need.
When they're hitting, you always wonder Why aren't they not hitting in other games? I know it's baseball, but they take such good swings and hit so many line drives when it's a game like last night. It's hard to believe it's the same team that then goes 2 games without scoring a single run. Like, what's the difference? I know you guys have those hits in you. We see them all the time. They have, what's the stat on this road trip alone? Padres have 4 double-digit hit games out of the 6 that they've played so far. Of course, the other 2 games, they didn't score at all. It's the feast or famine San Diego Padres offense that tends to drive you crazy. And I guess, it's better than constant famine like some offenses where, we get 2 and then we get 3 and then we get 1 and then we get shut out. I mean, you'd rather, I guess, get 0 and then score 7 and 0 and then score 11. But it is weird and very difficult to understand why the Padres have such big fluctuation in terms of their production at the plate.
I mean, it hasn't been that tough other than really the superstars not. There hasn't been a lot of production from Manny and Tatis. And, when those guys produce like they did last night, and Luis Ariz obviously setting the table with 4 hits, driving in 2 runs as well. And Jurickson Profar continuing on his tear. If those guys are just average, really, if Manny and Tatis are just up to their career averages, man, we are in such good shape as a team. I love this bench. I love the additions. I think Peralta can help. I think all these guys can help. Campusano moving down in the order. He came through last night. Guys are getting hits. Tyler Wade gets a chance to start last night. Gets 2 hits. It's a lot of guys are doing some good things right now. You got to just stay consistent and win this ball game today. Who's on the bump for Cincinnati?
Frankie Montas.
Frankie Montas, that's right.
And,
right-hander Frankie Montas.
Yeah, his numbers haven't been great. He's been on the injured list for part of this season. And Eno, who we're going to talk to in our next hour, had his new pitcher rankings coming out. And there's actually some good news when it comes to today's starter, Matt Waldron. I'll let kind of Eno explain why things have been looking up for Matt Waldron lately. Michael King as well after yesterday's start. So we'll talk to Eno and get inside the numbers coming up at 8:35 this morning in our next hour. A couple of just quick breaking basketball stories this morning. The Cleveland Cavaliers have fired J.B. Bickerstaff, their head coach, after their playoff exit. So Bickerstaff is out as coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Also, the city of Toronto has been awarded a WNBA expansion team as that league is trying to capitalize on what has been incredible ratings and the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. Now, she has yet to win a game yet in the WNBA. I think she was dropped to 0-5 yesterday, so it's been a bit of a rough start, but they are still capitalizing on all those numbers. So a couple of news this morning. We'll come back. We got one more full hour as we get you ready for Padres baseball ahead this morning with Bennett Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we are 2/3 of the way home this morning on a Thursday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan, home of your San Diego Padres, riding a modest one-game winning streak. That's not even a streak, is it? Right?
No,
Today,
one is not a streak.
One is just a
two is two even pushes the boundaries of a streak.
Yes. Well,
3 is definitely a streak.
Can't go on a streak without winning the first one.
That's true.
They did that last night.
Ending a losing streak of 2 games is good.
That's
though.
good. Very good. And a scoreless streak
19
as well.
innings.
Got it done yesterday over the Reds, 7-3, as you mentioned earlier. Nice football score in and then really
first quarter, end of the first quarter.
The home of football, Ohio. So there you go. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. I just went back to the kitchen to get a little water, and I had seen on an empty computer a sign for someone that we know and worked with who passed away. And his name was Rob Pickard. And Rob is kind of a legend in San Diego sales. Been around this business a long time. Now, he was not here.
He was back at the original, Extra Sports 690 back in the day when I first started.
When you first started in the business,
one of the sales guys.
There was Rob Pickard. And we had gotten the news a couple days ago that Rob passed away unexpectedly. And, obviously very sad. He was a great dude. We've talked about Rob on the air before. Rob was maybe one of the biggest characters I've ever met in as far as the sales guys go.
Big old Oklahoma. Boy.
So the sign in there says Boomer Sooner Forever. Something about never met a battle he couldn't fight. I mean, he was just a really good dude. Now, the funniest thing about Rob, and this killed me every time. We started together as Ben and Woods. We were over at Mighty 1090 and just trying to figure out our way as a show, as 3 strangers, essentially. And Rob would come in, man, the show sounded good. Thanks, man, appreciate it. Dude, he'd grab me, and he'd kind of look over one shoulder and look over another. He goes, I had a call today with so-and-so, XYZ business. And I'd go, oh, great. He's like, they're liking what they're hearing. Okay, awesome, man. Hey, listen, I think I'm going to get them to sign up, do a little advertising. And I said, great. He goes, and he look around and he goes, I'm going to get you a little money for it, too.
Like he's breaking the rules.
Like he's doing me a favor. And it laid me out every time he did it. And he would look around and go, I'm going to get you a little money for it. And I'm like, that's your job. You're supposed to sell stuff, and then I get money for it also.
Paulie might have a new Reindl Report sponsor. Might even get you a little money for it.
Get you a little money for it, Paulie.
But you're right. There was he didn't want to hear anyone saying it. Like, I don't want any of the other people to overhear what's going on here.
Like if they knew you were making money on this,
selling advertising and endorsements at this station. And if they found out, I could get in a lot of trouble. For this.
Yes. Like he was doing
literally your job.
That's the whole purpose of this, Rob. He was such a great dude. You want to talk about positive energy? A positive person. That was Rob Pickard. Many of you listening probably knew Rob very well, and he's definitely missed.
I got a great story about Rob Pickard. He is probably the first guy that I met in radio, because when I was 23, maybe 24 years old, I was working at Woodstock's Pizza still, trying to finish up school. And it was a big Aztecs game. That place was packed every night, whether it was a home or away game. And I was in the restroom, was washing my hands, and this guy was standing next to me. He goes, oh, so what do you want to do? I was like, I don't know. I want to work in sports at some point, like trying to get through school right now. And he goes, I work at the Mighty 1090. You should apply for an internship, get you in there.
So you know that.
So I did.
Wow.
I didn't know who he was at the time. And then,
it's crazy.
6 months later, I get hired on in the promotion staff, kind of work my way up the ranks. And I go back in my mind and I go, wait, that was the effing guy.
That's the guy, yeah.
That told me to get this internship. And then now we're working together. And then we worked with him here. He was just one of the goofiest,
most
guys.
energetic, positive dudes.
I'm gonna miss him.
He also asked you for a large pepperoni and said, "I'm gonna give you a little money for it too."
Polly, I'm gonna get you this pizza. Guess what?
I'll tell you what. Why don't
You
you
can
bring
actually
me out
eat
an
it.
extra large pie and 2 beers?
I'm gonna give you a little
I'm
money.
gonna give you a little money for that.
That line, I will never forget it. I'll never ever talk about an indelible mark that somebody made on me.
Yes, sir. That's how it works
Yeah.
at a restaurant.
Yeah.
We bring you food, you give us a little money
That's right.
for it.
I'm gonna you give me a little money, get you a little money for it. But rest in peace. You know how we do it on this show, Rob. He would have loved this too, by the way.
And I really hope we can see more unity and more peace when already things are so difficult. So, shout out to his family.
Rest in peace, Rob. Great dude.
Love that guy.
Get you a little money for it. It will never get old to me. Never. I could tell that story for the rest of my life.
We often make that joke still.
Still.
Years later.
Yeah, we'll get you a little money for it, Paulie.
Hey, Woodsy, I need you to cut a new QC Kinetic spot, and I'll be able to get you a little money for
Get
it.
you a little money for it. So good. So good, man.
Had a lot of old friends in action yesterday, including Juan Soto hit a couple of home runs. They were chanting his name in the Bronx. He'll be here this weekend. Padres and Yankees.
Won't be chanting his name.
Still tickets available, by the way. Padres.com/tickets if you want to head out to Petco Park this weekend to see the Bronx Bombers in town. Blake Snell was back on the mound yesterday for the San Francisco Giants, and still not Blake Snell, or at least not pitching like he did last season when, I think, 3 1/3, gave up 4 runs. Pirates jumped out to a 5-0 lead over the Giants. Giants did rally back, force a 10th inning at 5-5, and then scored 4 in the 10th to win it 9-5. So they got the win in a Blake Snell start, but his ERA is still in the neighborhood of 11, I think, so far, with a stint on the injured list in between his few appearances so far for the San Francisco Giants. I see a couple of Giants fans on my Twitter feed going, why did we pay this guy so much money? What's going on here? They don't quite understand the Blake Snell experience yet.
It's a ride. Yeah, it's a ride. It definitely is a ride. If you're a Giants fan now, what's his contract? 2 years?
It's 3 years,
3 years,
but he can opt out after every year. So at this point, he's not building a great case for opting out.
No.
He's more building the case for opting in for a second season,
which he'll
with
probably
the
be
Giants.
fine in.
Well, yeah, he'll probably only get better as he gets more comfortable in San Francisco.
MLB, I'm sorry.
They're
MLB,
still doing this?
MLB Network is still doing this. I thought this might have been a
replay. You're joking.
They have a graphic on their show right now that says teams that should rebuild according to Brian Kenny: Mets, Cardinals, Red Sox, and the Padres.
I don't disagree on maybe Mets and possibly Cardinals. Red Sox are playing pretty well so far this season.
It says, why has the full rebuild become less trendy? Well, I mean, listen, Brian, I mean, again,
Where to begin with you, Brian?
A rebuild constitutes trading Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts. They are kind of constantly rebuilding here in San Diego, right? Like it's kind of constant motion. They replenish the farm system.
Retooling.
They retool a lot. It's just fancy word for rebuilding, isn't it?
Most teams can't just rebuild on a whim every time Brian Kenny thinks they're not doing too hot.
What does a full rebuild constitute? Just dumping every bit of which, by the way, you can't just dump players without eating a majority of that money. And right? Like the Mets can literally today dump every player they have. They don't want to
start over.
But they could legitimately start over if they wanted to, because Steve Cohen has very deep pockets. But I can't believe, as we're sitting here, 2 games out of the second wild card, as you said, Brian Kenny is on his MLB network again calling for a rebuild. Teams that should rebuild.
They showed the team's records, their run differential. The Padres are,
plus
500,
plus 14
in the run differential. They're second place in the division, and he's saying that's yikes.
I mean, the answer to that question is rebuilding sucks for fans. I mean, a rebuild
which is what he wants.
Usually takes 2 or 3 years where you struggle and you're not a playoff contender, and then if you do it right, you come out on the other end in a better position with, young good players who are on the rise and some financial flexibility, which of course is great, is desirable if you can get there. But the pain of getting to that spot, especially in a place like San Diego where they are selling out every game, where they're setting attendance records again this year, expecting over 3 million fans again at Petco Park, you owe it to your fan base to put a good product, a competitive baseball product on the field. That's the reason you can't rebuild. Not because, analytically it doesn't make sense necessarily, but this is the real world, and you're running a very popular business in San Diego. Why would you cut your own legs out from under you right now when you're selling out the ballpark almost every night?
Because Brian Kenny doesn't like Joe Musgrove. That's why. Satan's Blowfish is like, I sit here complaining about ESPN's baseball content, and then MLB is like, here, hold my beer. It doesn't make any sense.
I kind of wish he's on with Mad Dog.
I just wish we could
Bob
go
Costas.
live.
I wish I could hear, because Bob Costas is sitting there, and he is a pretty level-headed guy. And I can just imagine him going, what are you talking about, BK?
Can we go live to it? I really would like to carry this live.
We may be near the end of the conversation here, but should the Mets be considering it? I think they really are at this point. There are some people. I saw John Heyman still thinks that they're a playoff contender.
They also
this year.
They can do it. Like they can.
They don't have half their roster tied up in 8+ year contracts.
No one will say to the Mets, "Oh, if you go over the luxury tax, your debt service rules, and this is bad for baseball, and we can't have smaller market teams spending this." If the Padres eat, tens and tens of millions of salary to trade players away to rebuild, they will literally have no money left to spend on anybody else. They will have no players other than absolute minimum, either washed up guys who can't produce or young guys who have no track record whatsoever. They won't be able to go out and sign other free agents the way a team like the Mets can. So they're, for good or bad, they are locked into these players for a while. There's not even a conversation really to rebuild for the Padres right now.
I mean, the Mets are 14.5 games out of first place. They're only 3.5 back of the wild card. Padres are 7 games out of first place. And, tied with the wild card games back there. They have a wild card spot right now. But again, you look at what the roster has, and you look at the contracts that they're going to be paying out. You're not rebuilding, man. And I don't know that they have said that they're not going to rebuild and do a fire sale and all that because they couldn't. They couldn't. Nobody's taking Xander at that price. Nobody's taking Manny at that price. Tatis would get some good offers, I'm sure. No one's taking Darvish at that price. Maybe nobody's even taking Musgrove, but maybe. There's guys on this team that you could absolutely move, but why would you move them if you're sitting at 500? You're in the playoffs if they started today, and I know that it's May, but still, like you have good players. You have an excited fan base.
Go and shop Xander Bogaerts right now.
How's that going to go?
And see how that's going to go. That's because all right. Rebuild. Can't have these expensive older players. So let's shop Xander Bogaerts. If I'm a GM of the other team, I'm going.
No.
All right, Xander. You want me to take Xander? All right. Well, you're going to have to pay good portion of his salary, and I'm going to want Ethan Salas and a couple of other of your top prospects as well. Why would you do that? Part of rebuilding is then
it's literally
turning it over to the young players. If you have to trade your young players
to get rid of your old players,
there's no rebuild there.
And pay money. Sounds awesome, Brian. Where do I sign up? Again, I don't know. He's got a real thing. And I know we always do this. We do this in San Diego media. We get defensive. But that makes me defensive. And if I'm a player and I see it, MLB Network's probably on in the clubhouse. And if I look up and go, what? Rebuild? What are you talking about, man? We're trying to grind these wins out.
True, it was probably on in the clubhouse right now.
We just took 3 or 4 from the Braves. We're winning the season series against the Dodgers, bro. Like, we're a good team that sometimes plays like ass. We can figure this out. And we have a GM, by the way. It's not going to surprise me one bit if he goes out and lands another frontline starting pitcher, another bat, like. He also has to go for it. He cannot negotiate a rebuild right now.
By the way, most of the guys who are signed to the big deals are still in very much their prime ages.
Yes.
30, 31, Machado, Bogaerts, Musgrove, Tatis is even younger than that. The one guy who's probably a little past his prime is also the one who's performing the best right now.
Yu
There's Yu
Darvish.
Darvish.
Yes.
He's on a 25-inning scoreless streak. He's your only really okay. This guy is. You gave him a contract, and he's in his late 30s now. Can you really expect that to continue? But he's the one who's actually doing it right now. He's pitching great at the moment.
He's got a real. I can't say what I want to say. Thank you, Paulie, for reading my mind. Thank you. Stupid.
All right. If you want to join us, you can. 833-288-0973. We'll take a quick timeout, get some Vicky Pepper traffic for you, and then back with more Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour of Ben and Woods brought to you by Prize Picks. Join the biggest moments in sports with Prize Picks. Pick your players, pick your stats, pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details. Did you see what Miguel Rojas did in the Dodgers dugout last night?
No.
Oh, you didn't see this?
Yeah,
So,
did I?
We were talking about this earlier.
Who was?
Yeah, so the Dodgers were taking on the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks were ahead. And Shohei Ohtani was about to step up. He was about to get his bat out of the
I
rack
thought
and
this was 2 nights ago.
head to the on-deck circle. And Miguel Rojas, their utility light-hitting backup infielder, jumps ahead of Ohtani, jumps onto the stairs, looks back at Ohtani and goes, "I'm pinch hitting for you." And the look on Shohei Ohtani's face, like, he's so confused. He's like, but he's going to accept it. Like,
he's going to be a good teammate.
All right, I'm going to be a good teammate. I guess I'm getting pinch hit with Miguel Rojas. Teoscar Hernandez is standing behind and watching this whole thing, and he cannot stop laughing because Rojas looks like he's serious. Like, yeah, no, I got to get ready. I'm pinch hitting for Ohtani here, and Ohtani just can't go. What? Why?
He's
why
like,
are you?
why? Hey.
What's going on? I guess Dave Roberts made that decision that I'm not batting here. It's like, no, we're not pinch hitting for you.
That's Shohei. That's so funny.
But if you want to know why it was so easy to steal $16 million from him, he apparently is
no idea.
Somewhat gullible.
No idea.
What? Yeah? You're pinch hitting? Okay. All right.
I don't get it, but okay.
It's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Pretty funny.
Oh, man.
It's funny. They're losing, and obviously they don't care. They, not taking things seriously there in the dugout, letting the Diamondbacks take 2 of 3 from them. I mean, that's a team you really have to be concerned about going forward. I mean, you want competitors on your team like Michael King.
Yes.
Guys who are taking things seriously. If you missed it earlier, so there were some people. I noticed a couple of Tier 1s noticed in the game yesterday when Michael King was taken out of the game in the 7th inning. He got 2 outs in the 7th, but then Mike Shildt came for the baseball to put Wandy Peralta in. And Mike Shildt walked out of the dugout and kind of clapped his hand a couple of times.
Double clap.
And before
clap means you're out, I think.
Before he even got to the mound, Michael King had already put his head down and just stormed past Mike Shildt. Like, ball's gone. He didn't wait around for the manager to get there to actually take him out. And Shildt kind of turned around, did a quick
gave him a look.
Oh, okay, there he goes.
Manny was shaking his head, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Okay, what are you doing?
That's what stood out to me the most.
No
Manny
question.
shaking his head, staring at King's back as he walked to the dugout.
There was
if
who
Manny
does this guy
doesn't shake
think
his
he
head,
is,
if Manny doesn't shake his head, I don't think it's a big deal at all. I don't think anybody even notices it.
Sort of vibe. So, I don't know, maybe mountain out of a molehill, but it was something we were curious about. So we had Mike Shildt on very early this morning at 6 a.m. Since we're off tomorrow, we did the manager's report in advance. And Woodsy asked him about that moment and Michael King coming out of the game last night.
Michael's a competitor, man. He wants to pitch. So I don't know. I mean, look, I have no issue with a guy that has some level of frustration coming out of a ball game.
Yeah, I figured.
I don't, I really don't. It doesn't bother me at all. It used to, earlier in my career, like I'd take it personally, and then I'm like, no, I would wait. And this was, 15 years ago. I was like, heck no, man. I'd way rather prefer even come in the dugout. You got a problem with it? I got no issue. I want guys that want to stay in the game that like to compete. It's way better than going out and the guy looking over at you, during the inning going, hey, man,
whenever you're
what
ready.
do you think, man? What are you thinking out there? How's that bullpen doing? That guy ready yet? I mean, I'm at a disengagement, so we're at a trip. So
so good.
So I don't know. I mean, Michael was, competing his tail off, and he knew that he wanted to go deep in the game to do the best he could to save our bullpen, and he was able to accomplish that. He did his part, and then it was time for Wander to do his part, which he did.
I loved it. There's a lot of fascinating things about the inner workings of baseball. So 20 years ago, as Mike Shildt said, 15 years ago, can't do that. That's called showing up your manager, is what it's called. And managers used to, or maybe some still do, they take great offense to it. They want you there. You hand the ball gently to them. They take the ball gently from you. A lot of times, Benny, there'll be a little bit of a pep talk. Hey, great job today, man. You really did your job. I'm going to go to Wandy here. He's going to get us this. Yeah, I'm gonna get you a little money for it, too. And Michael King then walks back. But the kind of the storm off the mound back in the day, and you saw Shildt turn his head, and Manny's clearly an old school player, shook his head. I think at the end of the day, what it boiled down to was what he said. That I love that, and I do too as a fan.
In the moment watching it though, when Shildt turns,
in my head, you're dead.
I'm thinking,
you're dead.
What'd you just say to me, boy?
You're dead. I thought this. Hey, you got a problem, boy? I thought
Get that ass over here and shake my hand.
I thought the exact same thing, Paulie, but I think it's so cool. Jack says he would have been benched in high school. 100%. 100% you do that in high school, you're getting benched.
Getting yelled at as a kid.
These guys are pros,
because
though.
I walked off the mound and kind of met the coach halfway.
Here, take it.
And he goes, no. You stay on that mound. You wait for me to get onto the mound, and then I'll take the ball. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I love that.
There's a lesson in leadership there, though.
Big time.
And even Mike Shildt admitted it's one that I kind of had to learn as I went along. You can't be a leader and simply let the people that you are leading walk all over you and not show you any respect at all. But if you're constantly having to ask for it and demand respect, then you never really had it to begin with. And you can tell now that Mike Shildt is comfortable enough in his leadership role that when a guy, has a moment where he's frustrated and doesn't necessarily show deference or the proper protocol when he's getting taken out of the game, Mike Shildt's not going to let it get him bent out of shape.
No.
He's going to go and see the other side of it and go, you know what? I don't care about that. That's not a true measure of leadership. Is not the guy is ready to, bow and genuflect at me when I come and take him off the mound. It's that he goes out and gives his best and cares about performing for the San Diego Padres. That's what's important as the leader, that the guys that are under you care about their job and are trying to do the best that they can. And if that leads to a moment that looks a little awkward every once in a while, fine.
Did you pull up the because AC, I guess, talked to Michael King about it last night.
Oh, yeah, I got that.
And this was pretty good. And he knew, he knew.
Kevin AC wrote this morning in his daily newsletter, the section Unhappy King. When Shildt arrived at the mound to take King out of the game with 2 outs and a runner on third base in the 7th inning, the pitcher did not even look at him as he handed off the ball and walked toward the dugout. Shildt and at least one infielder seemed shocked. Quote, I told Shildt I will never be happy when I get pulled from a game. King said after the game, he said he likes that. I made sure we were good. I was like, are you mad at me? He said, I'd rather a pitcher doesn't want to come out. So exactly what we expected, exactly what Shildt said when we talked to him earlier.
Are you mad at me? I've said that to Adam so many times. Hey, are you mad at me? No, I like your competitive fire.
No. But Adam is mad at you, actually, most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time.
He just can't say it because he's a good leader.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right, we need to take
Does
time
he say
out.
it to you?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
No. When we come back, Eno Sarris is going to be joining us. It's a Smart Baseball Thursday. It's actually our final segment of the day. It'll be a long one as we lead you all the way up to Sammy's Eco Water SoCal pregame show coming up at 9:10 this morning for the series and road trip finale in Cincinnati. It's all coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Last segment of Ben and Woods on a Thursday. In fact, last segment of the week since we're off tomorrow, off on Monday, and hope everyone has a really nice Memorial Day weekend. We will be back Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. Padres will play today, 3 against the Yankees, 1 against the Marlins before we talk to you again. So 5 games that we'll have to wrap up on Tuesday as the Padres get ready for baseball this morning at 10:10. We got Eno standing by, though. It's a Smart Baseball Thursday. Talk to Eno Sarris from The Athletic right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Vicki Pepper.
This report brought to you by the Fish Market, serving the freshest catches from waters near, far, and everywhere in between. 805 north at the 15 south. Watch out for a half a tire in the number 3 lane. Before, after the game, or when they're on the road, join the Fish Market's downtown location for happy hour every Monday through Friday from 3 to 6. Enjoy $2 shuck oysters, appetizer specials, $8 margaritas, and more. The Fish Market's downtown happy hour Monday through Friday from 3 to 6. I'm Vicki Pepper with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's time for the super polished, yet to be named Smart Baseball Weekly segment with Eno Sarris, son of a bitch. Brought to you by 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from the ballpark by the bay in Chula Vista. Here's Eno Sarris with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Oh. That was weird because while I was just sitting here,
this is where you guys talk.
Woods goes, "Can I start?"
And I go, let me ask the first question.
Sure. So I, of course, then didn't say anything when the intro ended and thought, well, Woods wants to start.
I panicked.
So.
I panicked.
All
I'm
right,
sorry.
so
Eno makes me very nervous.
I will welcome Eno.
That's what I wanted you to do.
To the program, Eno Sarris from The Athletic for his weekly Smart Baseball segment. And then I will turn the floor over to Stephen Woods, who would like the first question, like this is some presidential news conference. All right, front row, Stephen Woods, 97.3 The Fan. You may have the first question for Eno Sarris today.
Hi, Eno. I really panicked. I did. I go, hey, can I start? And Ben goes, yeah. And then you came on. I'm like, well, intro him and then let me.
You wanted to start. He's looking at you like, you said you wanted to start.
He's just taking all the wind out of my sails. No, I was just gonna welcome you to the program as always, and then also I was gonna say, look, I'm very excited about Padres Reds today. I am gonna be driving and listening to the game, but it's also Paul Skeens Day, so I am morbidly, weirdly obsessed with Paul Skeens. I'm sure you are too. And Ben said, well, every rookie pitcher's due for a clunker. And I go, I think he had his clunker in his first game based on the results we saw in game 2. He is a really fun dude to watch pitch.
Yeah, and this is something I was thinking about a little bit while I was watching Ellie De La Cruz. Is like, sometimes we get someone who's like clearly the best at their game, best in the game, like a Mike Trout, right? Yeah. During his prime. And they're interesting to watch for a lot of reasons. You're like, oh my God, he looks like a linebacker. He runs like the wind. He hits homers all the time. But sometimes I'm more fascinated by somebody like an Ellie De La Cruz or a Paul Skeens because the potential for being the best in their craft is there. But there are also flaws. And when there are flaws, you can spend a little bit of time in your head saying, is he going to figure this out? Is Ellie going to strike out less? Is he going to hit fewer ground balls? Is he going to become the best player in the game? Skeens, the command wasn't great in the first game, and it's a little bit more of like a two-seamer sinker-ish type thing than a four-seamer. So he does have to figure some stuff out. At the same time, though, he's dropping hundos left and right. He was doing 100-mile-an-hour two-seam. I mean, it's not a two-seamer, supposedly. It's a four-seam, but it has a lot of lateral movement. So he was throwing front door, like at the lefty's hips, two-seamers that ran over the plate at 100. And there's just like nothing a hitter can do against that because if you see 100 coming at you, you're not swinging at that.
No one, and I mean no one, is going to confuse Paul Skeens with Matt Waldron because they have completely different facial hair. However...
Oh, yes, it's the facial hair.
However, so you had your new pitcher rankings out, and interestingly, you said that of the pitchers who have improved their Stuff Plus the most over the past 3 weeks, tied for the first spot with former Padre Ryan Weathers, is Matt Waldron. So Matt is going today. Where exactly is that Stuff Plus increase coming from Matt Waldron? Is it on the knuckleball? Is that something that Stuff Plus does measure?
No.
No.
We have a
Interesting.
really hard time with knuckleball.
I thought you might. It's a tough one.
Partially because they just don't move the way you'd expect. And they don't it's really the thing about knuckleball that's interesting is that they move like a slider or like a curveball or like a changeup, except that you don't know which one's coming. You know, like that's what's so beautiful about the knuckleball.
Neither does he, by the way.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's what's also so difficult about the knuckleball. I mean, everybody that's thrown it regularly has had some issues with the walks. I think what I'm seeing is an improvement in some of just the basic things, like the slider has gotten a little better. I think that using the four-seamer over the cutter a little bit has been something that the model likes. For the year, it says that Waldron's best, well, actually for the year it likes his cutter the best, but basically it's like, the slider increasing the usage and him liking it, the model liking it. He does have, it's like a good sweeper, he has a good sweeper, and Stuff Plus loves sweepers. But he also has to get lefties out. So, that's where the cutter and the four seam and the knuckleball come in.
Yeah, we were talking to Eno Sarris this morning, and watching MLB Network was on the tube behind us. And there's the Padres keep being listed as, by Brian Kenny specifically, as a team that needs to really start their rebuild, and which I don't quite understand, and the rebuilding. Those days for a team like the San Diego Padres, who's actively trying to improve their roster, trying to get into the playoffs every year. I don't know. I don't know if it's a personal thing with Brian Kenny. I think my question to you is the retooling that A.J. Preller has done, and I feel like he's going to continue to do it this season. I mean, look what he's added already, and it's, it's May. I do believe there's going to be some teams that are sellers. When you look at the San Diego Padres right now and you say, all right, they're a 500 team capable of playing better, in your opinion, you probably expect them to be buyers and to continue to retool, yeah?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I guess I can see why someone from the outside would say this. And when I say outside, I mean someone who hasn't been at the park.
Right.
And hasn't been in the city and hasn't felt the real resurgence in interest and attendance and just vibe around the team has been sort of steadily positive. That if you don't experience those things, you could look from the outside and say, well, look at these huge contracts. But, those huge contracts, Tatis is in his prime. Manny's who he is, and yes, there's gonna be some lean years there that have been paid well, but and maybe Xander wasn't the best contract, but they're locked in. You're not trading any of those contracts. There's nothing you can do. There's the sort of most cynical aspect is like you've backed yourself into a corner. There's nobody taking that money. If you can think back, also another thing that Padres fans will remember is when they were trying to trade Hosmer and trying to get rid of that money, and how long it took. Years. And what they eventually moved and saved was like $10 million. It wasn't 220.
Yeah, 100%. We can have this conversation, I think, in like 5 years.
Also, Eric Hosmer had a limited no-trade contract.
Manny has
clause.
a full.
Most of the guys on the Padres side have full no-trade clauses. So if they don't want to go, they don't ever have to go. We're talking to Eno Sarris from The Athletic.
I don't, you're also, if you were like, oh, get rid of the Xander contract. No. I mean, it's not happening.
So you have to build around those guys, which is what you have to do, which is why a rebuild.
Invest in them and, hopefully make them as good as you can for as long as you can. And then
build around them.
And then supplement around them, hopefully with a successful farm system, right, Eno?
And that's the thing. As much as I don't think there's been like 100% great decisions made necessarily in free agency all the time with San Diego. You have to give AJ his flowers when it comes to the farm.
Yes.
Like, how did they turn around and how did they? So he comes in and he trades everybody. The whole Matt Kemp thing.
Yep.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
he
Rockstar
trades
GM.
all his prospects that he's got, you know, for a first shot. And then it wasn't like, you know, 2, 3, 4 years later, he has the best farm system in baseball again. And he's traded a lot of those guys. And you think, well, the farm system can't be good. Well, he just graduated Merrill, he graduated Campusano, and he still actually got guys that people want in the minor leagues. So I think the deal is you rely on Preller to continually produce prospects. You work around the contracts that you signed, and you just try to improve where you can. You know, there's an open question of how much money they have. So if we were to run through some of the pitchers they could acquire, you know, you kind of I think you'd want them to be on the cheaper side. Like even in the Arise trade, like wasn't most of Arise's contract paid for?
All of it, except for the minimum. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, this year at least. Yeah.
So it does cost more in prospects if you're asking them to pay the cash. That's just how it goes. So, like, you know, I like, you know, I think that I went through like the attainable names. I think one of them might be Jesus Luzardo.
Yes.
You know, he's got 2 more years left after this in arbitration. He's only due $5.5 million this year. So his combination of youth, he's 26. And cost, like he will cost the most in terms of prospects. And I think he's a pretty good pitcher. I don't think he's like, you know, ace level, but he would add, and he, you know, he's got good velo and a good breaking ball.
Left-handed too.
Left-handed. He'd be a good addition to the team. You know, and then there's I guess over in the White Sox, a slightly less interesting, but still pretty interesting. Eric Fetty, he's 31. He's a little bit more like an older Michael King, you know, kind of sweeper, sinker. I've got 4 pitches. I'm trying to dance around. And he signed for $7.5 million this year and next year on a 2-year deal. The White Sox are completely blowing it up. So you know, Fetty seems attainable. Those are the 2 names that are on there. You know, how much of that $7.5 million or $5.5 million has to get paid?
Yeah.
Or whatever's left has to get paid. Maybe they even want to wait a little bit so that they have to pay a little bit less. You know?
Yeah, why not?
Of cash, but.
Talking to Eno Sarris, and Eno, if the Padres do trade for Jesus Luzardo, they should probably do it before they have to face him on Tuesday, because Padres have been oddly struggling against left-handed starters. And I wanted to ask what your understanding is of the of splits of hitters. And I understand there's always small sample variance, but ever since the Padres have really put together their nucleus of Tatis and Machado and Kim, just all guys, even Campusano, who hit lefties really well and really consistently over the last few years. And all of a sudden, all of them are struggling against lefties at the same time.
It's awesome.
It's weird, really weird. How weird is that, though, that all of them, all of a sudden, they've gone from one of the best hitting teams against left-handers to one of the worst without really a huge change in personnel?
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't stare too hard at the numbers because, you know, platoon splits take, especially like if you were going to say, you know, there's always been players who, he has reverse splits. You don't believe reverse splits until the guy has 1,000 plate appearances against both hands.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's 2,000 plate appearances. That's like, you believe reverse platoon splits when the guy's retiring. You know?
Right, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're looking at 48 plate appearances from Manny Machado against lefties and saying,
you can't hit
against lefties,
yeah,
it's not. It's a mirage. You know, right-handers hit left-handers better. He's a right-hander. He's going to hit left-handers. I think with Manny, it's more of an overall, like, you know, let's get it going. Let's get the power stroke going. I don't think it's it's anything specific. Tatis is the one right-hander who is above average, but just barely, and it's kind of amazing. 152, 381, 217 slugging is above average, mostly because of that on-base percentage. So right now he's content to take his walks against lefties, I guess.
That's wild. And we are truly a team of anomalies. The three of us and you last year talked about so many anomalies San Diego Padres had, and we kind of waited for some of them to come back down to earth. Some of them never did. Hopefully this one, though, I think they're facing 3 lefties against the Marlins, at least 1 against the Yankees. And so, yeah, I mean, this is a really good week to figure out how to mash left-handed pitching again if you want to go anywhere this season, Eno. But we certainly appreciate your time, as we always do, my friend, and keep up the great work at The Athletic.
Thanks. I mean, it looks like at least the one-run game thing is not as bad this year.
Knock on wood, yes. Yes, that is.
So far, so good.
So far, so good there.
Eno, have a great weekend. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Eno Sarris, always with us, courtesy of 7 Mile Casino. And I think I get more compliments about Eno's appearances than any other guest. That there are a lot of tier 1s out there who just like his insight. And
why do you hate Brett Boone?
I don't hate Brett Boone. I just hear more about Eno. People say
you hate Jesse Agler now.
I don't hate Jesse.
You guys
either.
have beef?
I'm just giving you the numbers. Maybe that's a small sample size.
You need to wait for 1,000 appearances, obviously, dummy. Did you not hear him?
Before I can really
1,000 appearances.
By the time I'll have enough numbers,
it's 20 years.
Eno will be retiring.
Yeah. I mean, come on, bro. No, he's great. He's great. One of the best in the biz at what he does.
So I haven't seen any updates yet, but what is going on right now, and I'm curious about this, is they're holding a news conference in Louisville with the mayor and I think the police chief to discuss the Scotty Scheffler arrest and incarceration during the PGA Championship last week.
The case of the abrased pants.
And basically what they've said is
I like it.
They have the officer who arrested Scheffler has received corrective action for not using their body cam, first of all.
Right.
They are apparently releasing some pole cam and dash cam footage of what's going on. I'm not sure. I haven't seen it yet of what it captured, whether it's the actual incident or just the aftermath of the incident and the arrest. Of course, we saw the video that was taken by ESPN, their reporter, who was it, Jeff Darlington, that had the video of him actually being arrested, but it didn't show what happened in the lead up and what was really going on. So I don't know what kind of video there is of that, but they're discussing it. And there's been reports that they're not happy in Louisville about what the police did. Like the charges seem like excessive, that someone has overstepped their authority and their instructions in what they did with Scotty Scheffler last week.
Yeah, the continuance of it, the postponement of the arraignment, that really surprised me. But hey, listen, at the end of the day, maybe there's more evidence than we know, but it certainly didn't seem like it was anything that was. It was blown, in my opinion, a little bit out of proportion. But again, I guess I don't know everything, and hopefully, because again, you if you listen to and followed all the reporting, it was, the 5 guys before him were literally instructed to do exactly what he did. And then a guy jumps on his car. He drives 10 yards. After that, the guy falls off, rips his pants, and he goes to prison for assault. Or not prison, jail for assault, and is going to be, potentially charged with felony assault of a police officer, which I thought was a little bit odd. And
apparently in Louisville, they're thinking the same thing as well.
Yeah.
That was
so there's a presser today.
There's a presser
right
that's going
now?
on apparently right now, with Louisville officials discussing the Scotty Scheffler situation. My prediction is it pretty much goes all the way.
I think they're probably just
and I'm sure
charges.
Scotty is more than happy to put it behind him and let's let bygones be bygones, water under the bridge, and
sue anybody.
Let
this thing.
It's not like it's an annual stop either.
Right,
that he's got to go back every year to Louisville.
Call it a day.
Let's just figure that this didn't go well for anyone and move on from there. All right, we got a few more minutes left before Sammy is going to take things over with the EcoWater SoCal pregame show. Right now, do need to pause 10 seconds for station identification.
KWFN and KWFN HD1 San Diego.
This is Joe Musgrove.
And Musgrove's 100 first pitch of the night is swung on and missed.
The Padres play here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan and Odyssey Sports Station.
And this hour on Ben and Woods brought to you by Prize Picks. Join the biggest moments in sports with Prize Picks. Pick your players, pick your stats, pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details. There's a time in my life where I felt like the ultimate test of really being a true sports broadcaster is pausing 10 seconds for station identification. And that time is now. I still feel like that's a very cool thing that I get to do every once in a while when we have these extended shows leading into a pregame show.
That's what Ernie Johnson was talking about in his speech the other night. You know, you get to do that.
I have gratitude.
You get to call
I get to pause 10 seconds for station identification for all the people out there who had no idea that you were listening to 97.3 The Fan in San Diego. We get to tell you legally, with authority, according to the FCC, who we are every single hour.
That's right.
At the top of the hour, right now, there's no doubt in your mind. You're not listening
to anybody else.
You're not listening to, easy listening in Des Moines, Iowa.
Right.
No, this is San Diego's #1 sports station, KWFN, 97.3 The Fan in San Diego.
I'm glad that you got that moment. I know that you appreciate it. I do not when you're not here, and if I had to do that, I would not like it.
Do we just need to start doing that every hour for
Yeah.
Ben?
Yeah,
I mean, we
just
already
do
do.
It does automatically in the last commercial break. I don't have to call for it, though, but I would love to call for it, maybe, if we can just let me do that.
Where is Sam Levitt? That's what I want to know. That dude is always here 6 hours
He's been
before.
here.
Has he been here?
I haven't seen him, but Paulie says he's
I've seen him like 5
Oh,
times.
I haven't seen him.
He's probably in the production studio
Oh, there's
getting
his
ready.
gear. Okay. He's
Getting ready for the pregame show.
I wonder why he carries. I'm looking at his bag.
Go rifle through it
I
while
will.
he's not there and give us a report on what Sammy has in his bag. What sort of weird things that Sam... What is that a golf ball? Looks like he has a golf ball in his bag. That's unexpected. Is that a golf ball that he has?
Yeah, there's a golf ball in there.
Why does Sam Levitt have a golf ball in his is it a fanny pack or what kind of bag is that?
It's like a DOP kit.
A DOP kit?
Yeah, it's like a smaller DOP kit.
Toiletries usually in there.
There's pens. Is
he living here? Is he sleeping here?
No, there's no toiletries in it. Just pens.
He's not
and
living
white
in his
out.
car down in the parking lot, I hope.
Not that I know of.
Showering down at the gym, and we didn't know that Sammy didn't have a home.
There's a charger in there, and then there's a golf ball randomly in there.
Does he putt during the
He might.
There's a game when he's got time to kill between the pre and the post game show. Get some putting in.
No, I don't know what he does with it.
We should get one of those like long
kickback
holes.
machines,
Yeah. Practice putting during our breaks.
I mean, we got a baseball bat in here.
Maybe we can get one of our sponsors to put in a putting green inside the Odyssey studios here.
Got one at my house.
I would definitely use that. You
Yeah.
would be mad because I'd be using it too much, and you would then lose me in my attention span pretty quickly.
What are you guys doing this week with your day off tomorrow? Are you playing golf or anything?
I am.
Are you?
Going to play the Goat Hill, home of the third annual Chrome Tour Ben & Woods Open. The signups are starting to kick into high gear. There's still a few spots left, though, but if you want to get in, I would suggest you don't wait too much longer. We're less than a month out. June 19th will be our Ben & Woods Open, and you can sign up for the 8 a.m. shotgun or the 1 p.m. shotgun. Lots of food. Lots of prizes, lots of beverages. Yeah, we got some good beverage sponsors as well. Giveaways, great raffle items. It's all going to be there at Goat Hill Park in Oceanside, and it's all benefit the North County Junior Golf Association and the Goat Hill Caddy and Leadership Academy. So sign up today. Get in and be one of the Tier 1s who gets to join us out all day long at Goat Hill on a Wednesday next month at Goat Hill Park in Oceanside.
Yeah, you can sign up as a single, too. We'll pair you with Tier 1s. It's going to be great.
It's a good community. I don't think you'll be mad who you end up playing with. If you just want to sign up on your own, you don't have to. It's sometimes hard to get 4 people who are all, I can do it that day. I can do it that day.
Yep.
So just sign up by yourself or as a twosome. We can put you with another twosome. It's a 4-man scramble. And it's a fun course for that as well because it's not long, but it's challenging.
It's
so
massively
you'll have
challenging.
some fun shots that you have to hit, but you won't have to hit it 300 yards to be successful at Goat Hill Park. Everyone can have a good day, and everyone can have a bad day.
It's going to be
at
so
Goat
fun.
Hill Park.
It's
We
gonna
had
be
some Tier
so
1s who
fun.
played there yesterday.
Yep.
They said it was in great shape. I agree. I concur. It's been in terrific shape for a very long time now. John Ashworth does a phenomenal job up there. So we'll see you out there next month on the 19th the 3rd annual-ish Chrome Tour Ben & Woods Open. Italian Paul is here. I guess he's going to be the studio coordinator for today's broadcast. Sammy Levitt is coming up next, and we're done. Woodsy, safe travels to Joshua Twee.
Thank you, buddy. Joshua what?
Twee. Have a good weekend
Twee.
at Joshua Twee. For Paul Reindl, for Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Enjoy some Padres baseball coming up next year on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.